TikTok, check out what Vevor sent us today. This is the 3-prong 16 gauge wire 50-foot reel extension cord. So that means this will extend out to 50 feet, which will reach anywhere in my garage. It's made to be wall mounted, and it even has a swivel so you can rotate this thing side to side if you're pulling it at an angle. I plan to probably mount this on my ceiling, so if you want to see that, keep on watching and we'll get this thing mounted. To mount it, it's very easy. I love how they made the bracket detachable, so you can just mount this thing and then wherever you want, and then slide the assembly on, and it's very easy. It's just held on with a nut, so you would simply slide this in place, put your nut on there, which is right here. So once you put the nut on there, it is secured and it's not going anywhere once you crank it down. But as you can see there, it's very simple to install. This is how it comes out of the box. So they make a few different versions of like how short the length is and the thickness of the wire. I got 16 gauge because I'm not doing anything crazy with this one, but if you want to get a thicker wire or a thicker gauge, I think they have like a 14 gauge as well, maybe even a 12, I can't remember, but check the link in my TikTok shop and you'll see the different variations of the extension cords. I also forgot to mention that it does come with mounting hardware. It's got some different anchors here, but I'm just going to be using standard lags with that is screwed right into the stud in the wall. So let's get it mounted. Okay, so first things first, I decided to mount mine on the wall here. So just get yourself a stud finder, find the stud. I'm only gonna put 2 screws in, or 2 lags will be plenty to hold it up, and then I can use sheetrock anchors for the other 2 screws on the other side. So I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But I am mounting it right next to my hose reel. Okay, as you can see, I have the stud marked. I'm gonna put my level up here, up on it, and mark both the holes, but this is how I'm mounting it, and then I'll use sheetrock anchors for the other side here. Okay, something I like to do is when I put lags in, I like to use a pilot hole that is just smaller than the threads here. So I'm gonna drill a pilot hole for this lag to go in, just because it's a lot safer and it's a lot easier for this lag to go in and still bite it without splitting the wood in half. Okay, so for the other 2 holes, I'm gonna use these sheetrock anchors because this is just going into sheetrock, and I actually love these things. I like to sink them in to where they're almost flush with the sheetrock, but each of these will hold 50 pounds. This thing doesn't even weigh 50 pounds by itself, so technically only one of these can hold up this reel. So, I mean, that's in theory, but I like these sheetrock screws, so I'm going to use the sheetrock ones on this side. These will be screwed into the stud, so this thing is not going anywhere. Okay, so just remember when you mount this thing, I already put 1 lag in there. It's nice and it's about to be nice and tight, but make sure this piece is on the bottom. That way, when you slide this thing in, it's just being held in place. You don't want to put this upside down because it'll be solely relying on the bolt on the top part. So make sure that this piece here is on the bottom. Okay, you can see that thing is all stud when it's going in, so literally one of these will be plenty of structure for this, or plenty of strength for this bracket here. And then we'll go ahead and put the sheetrock ones on this side just for basically looks, and then we'll put this thing up here. All right, the bracket is up. As you can see, even these screws, it literally bent that washer right there. That's how good these sheetrock anchors are. So I'm a big fan of those, but now we got it secured. Let's throw the reel up here. All right, so we just slid this thing in here. So it just goes like this. So the bracket literally just slides into place. So it'll slide into there, and we'll go ahead and take our nut and throw it in on the bottom here. And that's pretty much all she wrote for this thing. So now this thing can swivel either way and without issue. And then we will plug in our extension cord part here, or our power side, into an outlet, but I'll be doing that here in a second. Okay, so we got it mounted on the wall here. What a lot of people don't know is that you can actually adjust this ball here. So you can bring this ball out depending on how far you want this extended piece to be. Maybe you have it on the ceiling and you need to reach it. So that's why you would need this much slack. So you can just adjust that by loosening the screws and sliding the ball to the end here. But yeah, this is how this works is when you pull this out, you'll hear it ratchet. So you'll hear a clicking noise. So that click is locking it. So as long as you can hear that click, it'll lock it in any position you want. And then when you pull it past the clicks, then it'll retract back in. And this thing is pretty strong. So the spring in it is very strong. So if I want to pull it out a little bit further, so if you heard the clicks, it doesn't matter. As long as you hear that there's 3 clicks, and that's what locks it into place. So if you want to go further than that, you can come out more and it'll lock it again. So you can see in the clicks is where it locks it in place. So I could keep going in and out, but if you pull it past the clicks, you can hear the spring. It's just going to retract it back in. So that's how that works. And this will reach, I think this is the 50-foot length one. So there you go. So like I said, I have it in my TikTok shop. Check it out if you're interested. Grab you one. So far, the quality seems very good for the price that you pay. So check it out on my TikTok shop.